Hey, we're back, y'all. Happy New Year. It's been a
Happy
couple
New
weeks,
Year.
3 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
It's
It's
been
my fault. We
84
told
years.
y'all that we would do one right before Big 12 play
Shelby
started.
is
And
a
the truth
liar.
is, I went home to visit family, and
How
bless
dare
their
you?
hearts, they have internet, but it just was not going to work. I tested it,
What
it
is
just was not going to work.
you
And
have
then
internet?
they have internet. They
Like,
can
what does
watch
that
Netflix,
mean?
by God, but
Okay,
live
okay.
streaming would have been a problem. So
Essentials
we
are
didn't
there.
do it. Instead, though, y'all saw the content. Your girl drove to Houston one day. I was in Central Texas, so I drove to
Sh-
Houston for one game,
Shelby,
drove to Lubbock for the other game. I got to the games
Shelby,
instead, so it was a fair trade. It was fun, as if that was like a hardship on me. It was a great time,
I,
but that's what we did. So it was good over the break, and today we're gonna get into all the basketball stuff. We got some
who?
questions earlier. We'll answer those. You have more questions right now? Drop them in the comments wherever you're watching on Facebook, Twitter.
You
Where is this
won't.
all going?
Uh,
YouTube,
the
all the
internet,
places.
as
Let
in
us know
Shelby
the
terms.
questions.
Yeah.
The internet. Let us know what you got. We'll talk about a little bit of football. That bowl game feels like forever ago. And soccer and volleyball both got some fun
Yeah.
transfer pickups, and I guess freshman signings, international
Mm-hmm.
player signings. So we'll get into all that. But first, Sibby,
We're what? We're
what you
what?
been up to?
Yeah. Happy New
You got a
Year.
nice. She's got a nice background. We got
Look
Sibby
at
in a
this
new
double
place. She's
T.
making me look bad.
Look at Grogu is hanging out. There might be times where Shelby, you're going to say some shit and I'm going to have to go. And now I have the opportunity to do so in this new setup. But yeah,
I
new
love it.
year. Really excited for us because we just celebrated our 1 year with seeing Scarlet. So for those who know,
You know,
and
you
that's
been
been
here?
really exciting.
Nothing
Yeah,
new.
and
What's up?
we're looking forward to growing. And so like in the new year resolution vibe that we love so much, we Shelby and I have been working on like goals that we want to have for seeing Scarlet. And so all that to say, thank y'all for continuing to hang out with us. And if you don't know who we are, we cover Texas Tech sports and we do it and we have a good time. So we're gonna keep doing that. So come hang out with
It's good.
us. That's my sales pitch. But yeah, let's start with women's basketball. We're getting into Big 12 play. We're going to talk about Houston. We're going to talk about Texas and everything in between there, and then what we have coming up. So uh, it's tough to talk about now, but we'll get into the game with Houston, and they played at Houston. They won 79-71. And Shelby, I know you're gonna tell us what you think of it, but to me, I really loved that game. It seemed like we really had energy. A lot of connections were happening, and to me, seeing that energy was needed. And I was worried of like where I know it's
Fair.
there.
Fair.
Where is it? And so I really love seeing that, and of course getting a W on the road in Houston. Cheryl Swoops was in the house. Dang,
Legend. She's not
dang!
even
Can
like, you
you
can't even call her.
imagine?
You can't even say goat, because goat is so like just, I
It
don't say
it
overused,
doesn't.
but we just use it for
Yeah,
everything now. She's like legend. There's like
she's
legend and then goat.
legendary.
Goats are just good players now.
I mean,
Legend is it.
when I was thinking about when I saw her at the game, I was like, Shelby and I, we did an episode about her, just her. So go back and listen to that. But I think we need to revisit that maybe on a yearly basis because I keep finding out things
I'm here
about her
for
that
it.
I'm like, oh my God, like Cheryl Swoops. Anyway, so that was really cool to see her in Houston showing up for the team that won a national championship a decade ago. So yeah, what were your thoughts about
I think it
Houston?
was more than a decade ago, but
Okay,
it's fine.
I won 11 years ago at this point, right?
Oh,
The
you
national
said when they
title for
won
the
that was 1993.
yeah. Oh, sorry.
That's more
Whoa.
than a decade ago.
Whoa.
Math is hard, but it's fine. Yeah, no. Houston was awesome. We did not talk about, that we will just not spend time on because nobody wants to go there, is what happened between the last show and Houston. Was we went to Hawaii and we just played two
Oh my
games and we did not
gosh.
play well. And so
Yeah.
that's why and we'll leave it at that. It was just a weird environment. There were good moments, but it was mostly just like, what is going on? We didn't look like ourselves. It was a whole thing. Travel fog, but there was some concern, like, oh, how
Yeah.
are we going to respond from that? And they came out in that Houston game,
Good point.
even after they went home for Christmas break. And that's always a concern too. Like, how are they going to respond? Our young
Mhm.
team, or they be distracted by that? No, they came out focus. And I was there, and they were focused is the word I would use for that.
Cool.
They were focused but loose. Like they were, joking it up and stuff, but they were ready to go and they played loose. And that first quarter, it's probably the best they played because it was a Big 12 opponent. They've had quarters like that earlier in the year against some other opponents where you're like, wow, like they blew them out. Incarnate Word, second half, you think of like how good they did. But this was a Big 12 opponent, so you kind of got to say that was it. And that was probably the first quarter. I think it was 31-12 at the end of that first quarter. That's like this team's almost ceiling. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way. You could 31-12. Right. You shoot 70% or something stupid. That's just not sustainable, but it could happen from time to time. You have good shooters. Jada Wynn went crazy. Jazzy, we'll show the highlight package in a minute and just let y'all watch it in case you missed it.
Oh my gosh.
Just let you skip through it. But Jazzy Shavers, that 3 to start the game off was huge. You'll see it. Like, because
set the tone.
Of what happened in Hawaii, they were missing shots they always make in those games. She comes out, first shot of the game, switched from the corner. And everything was good from there. The press looked great. Our starting, we went back to our kind of original 5 from the beginning of the year. They were playing well together, and they just did the good stuff from start to finish. In that, and then it was a fight from then on. Houston didn't lay down. Yeah. They didn't let us just run away with it, which is to be expected. It was on the road. This was not at home either. This was in their nice arena, by the way. It's a nice little setup they have there. It was more Red Raider fans than their fans, but they had some fans there, and they fought back. And we, that's just, we're going to go through those growing pains with a younger team, but we never folded, which you appreciate. This team has never folded. Even when we get into this Texas game, which was not fun, they didn't fold in that game either. This team has never folded all year. They didn't give in to Houston's pressure because they made 3. We would make a 3. They go make a 3. We would make a 3. They go make a 3. Jada Wynn would make a 3. Like, it was just, we kept them off of us. And we kept them from coming back because they got it within 9 at one point after being down by like 20. And you start to worry about that. And we kept them off. So that was stuff I liked. I love the energy in that game mostly. The energy was great. The communication. Sibby's big on communication. I had seen them play in person a couple times in Lubbock prior to this game. That's true. And the communication in this game was better than that game. It's clear that was a point of contention maybe. It didn't seem like they were communicating well in Maui. I would like to say I was not in Maui. It could have not translated well on TV. They could have been communicating. I never want to say something like that, and they could have been fine. That could have not been the issue in Maui, but it didn't seem that way on the broadcast. It looked like they were a little not doing that, and they were communicating well both in the positive and the negative moments in this game, as in they were getting after each other in the last 3 quarters of the game when things were up and down. So I thought, it was a good game. You go on the road, you win. In the Big 12, that was a quad 2 win for y'all net people out there. What is a quad 1 win? Nobody knows what a quad 1 win is. Quad 2 win. It's a quad 2 win when you go on the road and beat someone they were ranked 90th in net or something like that. So we're 2-0 in quad 2 wins now. There's people out there that say we haven't played anybody, but we're 2-0 in quad 2 wins because we beat Houston on the road and Santa Clara, who is like 60th in the net. Just go with us on this. It's how they pick the teams in the tournament. We'll start playing quad 1 teams now. Texas would have been a quad 1 win, so now we're 0-2 in quad 1 games.
Wow. Okay, for those who don't know, by the way, Shelby, I was like, what is happening? What words are you saying?
Folks out there.
I know, and I totally get it, and I love it, and I was like, what is this
Break it down for him, Sibby. Look it up.
And I looked it up, but I'm not going to even touch that. That's going to be another show when we talk about this, but I immediately just looked at like, what are quadrant 1, quadrant 2 wins? And then I can't wait to read this article, but it seems like it's actually structure
a whole
to like.
Nobody knows what a quad 1 win is. It's okay. Online, so you're not the only one. It's fair. But let me just go with it. We're 2-0 in quad 2 wins, so that's not bad. We are cool. 2 in quad 1 wins, but we're gonna get some quad 1 wins as the season.
Tell me when to cheer. Just tell me when to cheer.
We're good. It's good for getting us in the tournament. We'll be fine if we win the games we need to win. They did the work in the non-con, despite Maui. It's fine. They're set up to make the tournament still. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, we'll show these highlights from the Houston game and let you just kind of watch it in case y'all didn't. It feels like a long time ago, though. That was not
It
even a
has
week
been
ago.
I
This was
know.
only a few days ago.
It's a weird
But
time of
I've
the
been
year.
traveling so much in the last 40.
I know.
just got back from Texas today.
I love that you picked
So
out of the places to travel to and the games to go to, Shelby. I love that you didn't pick Hawaii to travel. We'll talk about that off air.
that was
but
missed
come on,
opportunity. I don't know what I was thinking.
for
Next
all
year.
of us, honestly. Okay, yeah, hit it.
Coach, you listening? Schedule a little something fun next year. I'll be there.
We'll be there.
All right, let's watch these highlights from Houston. I actually haven't. I've watched them.
Are you here?
There's Jazzy that we're talking about. That was such a big three from
so
Jasmine
needed.
Shavers. She had a really good first quarter, and this is the start of the Jada Wynn show.
Oh my gosh.
Steps into a three. And
I mean,
Six for seven.
6 of 7
7.
from 3. And it's not a fluke. Like, she didn't have a great game against Texas, but
This was good. I loved this play.
Yep.
That was a great
she's
highlight.
fired up.
Oh my
They were so fired up in this game in that first quarter. Like, the energy. That's what I
That's
mean
what
by
I'm
ceiling.
saying.
Like, when we play our brand of basketball,
Tell
and
'em.
we're able to, and we play this, and we really buy into it, and we get after a team, we can
Yes.
cause problems. We'll talk about the Texas game. We caused problems against Texas doing it. They were just able to out physical us in other ways, but we still cause problems with our press, and they just have fun when they're doing it, and you love to see it. And we're going to be able to beat teams with this. Yeah, we're going to take our lumps. That's fine, but you're going to be able to get the wins you want to win with this team. They're fun to watch when they're able to play their brand of basketball.
What a game.
Yep.
This is a fun game to watch. Jazzy!
Oh my God, the commentators were so good, by the way. Yep.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Kicked out to the
What?
corner. Win
Who
hits
is
her
this guy?
fourth
Look at him.
three of this first half.
The guy with the fun voice is what I'm talking about. Oh, Merritt. I thought Merritt was good in this game. She had a lot of turnovers in this game, but I don't think they were necessarily
Yeah,
on
like-
her.
For Jordan Merritt.
We'll talk about that in a second, but
Shavers.
she was more aggressive in this game. She had some really good
Contact
moments where
and
she had her real
finishes, no
pin and we
whistle.
didn't get it to her, but I know that in film they saw,
Win.
Jordan had her
Jada.
pin. We should have gotten
Again
it to her.
from deep, off
Jada!
the screen, her fifth three today.
I was losing it. I'm somewhere in the background behind the bench losing my
Three
mind every time.
today.
Home run ball to
Oh, let's watch
Muppin.
this again.
Good
What was that, Bailey? Amazing.
Home run pass from Jada.
today.
Got the Kyler Murray ish.
Wait,
Bailey
what?
down
She
there
threw that
somewhere.
from inbound?
Muppin.
Yeah.
Good adjustment in the air.
But this is what I was talking about with Merritt. So I don't know for sure. I was at the game. I didn't rewatch on TV. But we started out the game. Merritt was the inbounder on a lot of our passes. And it was giving us trouble. We weren't able to get the ball in. Logic would say maybe that's because in our lineup, Merritt's playing the 5. That means she's going to be a little smaller at the 5. The girl on her was long, taller than her. She was able to cause havoc.
Okay.
We just, in the second half, we switched to Jada inbounding the ball and
that
didn't
was
have as
it?
many turnovers. So
Cool.
that's why, because there's, you look at the box score and you're like, oh, I think Merritt had like 6 turnovers. I'd say 4 of them came on an inbound plays where it got tipped off, which is frustrating, but she was doing her best in a situation there. So
But
it was
like,
something they
what
were
are they-
trying and it didn't work and they switched it in the second half and Jada did it. And Jada had this nice pass to
Run
Bailey.
ball to
That-
Muppin.
yeah.
They adjusted.
Good
We love
adjustment in
the
the
I
air.
love
Gets
adapting.
the alarm.
Yeah.
Good attack
Oh,
there
that
from
play.
Freelon, the former track star, using the
Unreal.
Euro step.
The 20 fans that were there for
Good
Houston.
attack there from Freelon,
Went,
the
ooh.
former track
Oh, I
star,
bet they
using
did.
the
You can't.
Euro step for the
How
They
can
were
you-
amazed.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you win on the road in conference
Love
play.
it.
Oh,
Set
What
play
a
love
from
that.
great
Ehrlich
play
and
by
Co.
Texas Tech out of the timeout.
9-point game. Chevalier under the basket.
Jada.
Win. Her sixth three.
It was a
today.
9-point game right there with
Win
3 minutes ago, and she
for
hit that. That was a
Krista
huge
Gerlich and
three.
her Red Raiders as she begins.
Dude.
And then
Everybody
they're
was
so happy for
hyped.
Jada. You love it. You love it. They were hype. Good stuff. Good stuff from
That was
them.
really good.
It was a fun game.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
we said what we had to say. I'm sure you have more thoughts watching it on TV. I didn't get to rewatch it.
no, I mean, like I gotta ask you later about this Hall of Famer, because he made the game like really fun to listen to. But beside that, I mean, like
I
this
think
was
it's
such
Chancellor or something like that. Van Chancellor. Or
if
something?
you if you're in the comments, especially if you're on Twitter, right, Shelby, we're trying to like
Mhm.
test out this new format. So if
Oh, we can
you're
see them.
on-
Both the comments that we have here are from Twitter.
are from Twitter.
working.
Oh yeah, it says the X thing. Okay, great. Sorry,
She is
X.
her. Hey, Jeremy, what's up?
And I put up Jeremy's comment earlier, and I'm sure it's a quad 1 joke thing that I don't.
It is.
know yet,
That is
but-
the.
All right, cool. I get it now.
They don't want you to know what a quad 1 win is. That's what it says.
Thanks, Shelby. Anyway, this game, like I said, and what you said too, this was perfect for our energy and making those connections, which I think is so frustrating about when we talk about Texas here in a minute. Is like that was just like such a hard thing for us. In a way of like we beat ourselves in a lot of ways with Texas, but this game with Houston, love seeing it. I love that you talked about it too, of making that uh adapting to what was working and what wasn't working in game. Like that is some Coach Gerlich brilliance that I love seeing. You see our set pieces here. She's brilliant at that, and I think we talk about it in we'll talk about it in the Texas game. But even like with our halftime, when we have that time to adapt or to make changes and things like that, it sometimes works out for us in a really positive way. And this was a great display of adapting and coming off of really, I'm sure, challenging in a lot of different ways from Hawaii. That was, full of losses, but also, challenging in a lot of different layers. So much needed win in Houston. I'm glad you got to be there. I'm glad it was a cool arena. But yeah, Jada Wynn, 6 for 7, 3 points.
Jada Wynn game.
Made all of her free throws, 5 for 5. She
23 points.
23 points. Really impressive game. Jordan Merritt, like you talked about too, had a lot of rebounds. She had 6 rebounds in that game too. And
she just seemed more, and in the Texas game too, she looked more confident. She shot that 3 we'll talk about. I liked her confidence a little more in these 2 games. Maybe that little Christmas break, maybe going to see her family or something. Let her get more into it. But even, like in this game, they saw it on film, because there were times where she was getting a little frustrated, but she was working. Like she had her girl posted up, and we just didn't get the ball because we're still figuring that out. But it's good that she put that on film, because when they watch film, they'd be like, oh man, should have got you that ball? Do it again next time I got you. But she was working out there, so. I like what we saw from her in this game, and spurts in Texas. She was in foul trouble like they all were, and we'll get into that game. But overall, great win. You needed this win. Again, the goal is to make the tournament. My opinion, they need 9 to 10 wins to do that. Maybe 8, because the Big 12 is 1-2 best conference in the nation. But with our non-con, since we couldn't get the Oregon State win, I think we might need 9 or 10 in conference. So that's what I'm going for. You needed this win. To be frank, you needed this win, and they went out and did it. And the score ended up being 8 points or whatever, but it was a double-digit win. They just kind of got some points there at the end. We thought they were going to foul, and they didn't, and they went down and got a shot. So it is what it is there, but we pretty well, that was probably about a 15-point win. I think the analytics actually said net was like plus 14 or something like that on that game. So
I got to ask
good stuff from them.
net.
And that's my thoughts on that. It was a great win. Fun times. Vibes were high.
Cool.
You rolled it into Texas, and we'll start it out with the positives. They've clearly been selling tickets for a while. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of promotion for that game until a couple days before, but I decided to go up with, got my mom to come up. We have some family in West Texas, so we stopped and saw a couple cousins along the way, and then got to go to the game. She's an Aggie, so she is trained to hate the Longhorns.
Indifferent.
Too, so it worked out. It got there, and that was, I was told that they were expecting it to be the largest crowd in the Gerlich era, not as an education day game.
Yeah.
And it had, I think there was 8,500 is what they announced. So might have been more than Baylor last year. It was the best I've seen for women's basketball since I was in school, back when we were in school.
Really?
They were remember, they used to be the ticket in
it
town
used to
even
be.
then.
Yeah.
When we were in school, they were making the tournament still with Curry.
Back in my day.
Back in our day, that was the game. Everyone went to the women's games, not the men's. So it was about like that those times. It was fun. Cool. It was good. I thought the atmosphere was great. We'll start with the fans. Shout out the fans if you were there. Be there again on Saturday. Saturday's game at 2 p.m. We'll talk about it later. Kansas is a very, very, very important win as it pertains to their goals long term. I know we probably won't have the same crowd because a lot of people came into town for that last game against Texas. But if you're just a local, please go to that game. Get there. We have 2 free tickets we can give you.
Oh yeah, DM us.
We have
if you're
4 free tickets we can probably give you, because we got tickets. We can probably collect others. If you can't, you have a large family, and I get it, money this time of year, we get it. DM us if you want to go to that game. We'll find a way to get you to the game.
Oh, we will.
We need everybody and their dog to be at that game and to support them again. The crowd was great. There wasn't a lot for the crowd to cheer for, but I was really proud of the crowd. They didn't leave. Like they stuck through it the whole time. There was that run where Riley made those 2 threes in like the third and the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And the crowd was like, yes, something, we can help y'all. We can finally help y'all. And everyone was like getting up like, yeah, let's go defense. Like they were trying, anytime there was a chance to yell, they wanted to. That crowd was ready. And like they just wanted anything to go crazy for. And there were a few moments that just wasn't there. I guarantee you show up on Saturday, there's going to be plenty of moments to go crazy because they can win that. So please, please, please go out again. That was your first game. It's going to be a good show on Saturday. They need your help. So that's my first plea. But shout out to Red Raider Nation, Lady Raider Nation, all of them. It was
all 8,207 of them.
And some pretty special recruits were in attendance in that game too. Hey, Leah Chavez and your teammates, I saw you there. I think you look pretty good in that uniform. You want to come?
Well, let's find our recruiting hat real quick. But yeah, I mean, like that. But that's what you want to see, you know. From the again, we maybe one of the last times we play Texas ever, but like
let's
in
be honest,
regular
they're never coming back to
that drama is so funny. What are you doing?
It was
sweetie?
Obnoxious. There was drama at the end of that game. I don't want to get into it, but he was being typical Vic. It was stupid. So we'll talk about it later. People that were there saw it. I don't want to get into it. They won the game fair and square. I don't want to talk about it, but he was being himself after that game.
All right. And that's Shelby Spice. But yeah, I also like was thinking about with this game too, with Ashley Chevalier, with what she's been through and like how she has shown up in the defensive line this game. And for those who don't know, like, because Ashley transferred from Texas to Tech, correct?
She did. Yep.
Okay, so she
told that story in our interview.
It was great. So for me, you know, like we'll show a lot of her clips here in just a second, but that was, you know, it's tough to lose to Texas. We lost. We got Krista Gerlich's presser, and Shelby told me about this too. But Bailey and Riley, they had great quotes of like, "Hey, we know what happened." We have it in here. Later. Oh, dope. Okay, cool. We'll show that. But like, I think that's what we can say about it. It makes sense. We'll start to move on, just like the team's ready to do. But Ashley's game was so fun to watch, y'all. Like we talked to her about this, but her defense is so electric, and she came into Austin with like all these different layers, and she played out of her mind. And I can't wait. I hope the clips show it. But she's, you know, playing defense, and I've only seen this in like a few different times, but this makes so much sense for Ashley. But when she's like clapping in their face, like, let's go, they have the ball. She's clapping in their face.
She wanted this one.
I mean, want that
intense, but
I want that like in my brain anytime I'm going through anything challenging. That's what I want. I want that gift, Shelby. So
well, let's figure it out. One of these clips that we have of her is the one where she's clapping and
this is Shelby.
So okay, cool. You're gonna get that. I'll just send it to you. You can watch it over all you want to. But yeah, okay, I agree. Cool. Listen, no one had a perfect game in this game. It's whatever. But I thought Ashley really played some inspiring play in a game where it's hard to say there was a game changer on our end because we just really never could change the game. That was the problem in this game. We desperately tried to change the game flow, and we get a couple of buckets in a row. We just could never get on a run because we just could not get a rebound for the life of us. We'd make a stop. We actually played pretty good defense at the point of attack. We'd get a stop. We could not get the secondary rebound. We could not get the second balls. We'd tip a ball in the press, and usually Kylie's there, Bailey's there to get that ball, you know, as the free safety position. We just weren't there. It was a little bit disjointed in the first half. Yeah. But Ashley, her defense was inspired when she was out there. She was inspiring especially in the second.
Great word.
And she was getting the crowd going. She was keeping them in it. And being there in person, I mean, she's getting the crowd going. She's getting their teammates going. And you saw it a bit in the second half. I think both of these clips are from her in the second half. And yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a personal thing there for her. But I'm going to give her credit and say she looked this focused against Houston too. So I think she wants this for this team. She wants them to accomplish their goals in conference. And I'm not going to say this was just another game to her. I'm sure there was a little something more to it, just like there was a little something more to this game for the whole team. Everyone knows that this rivalry means. Yeah. So we're not going to pretend like it didn't mean a little bit more.
Oh, totally.
But she was just as focused against Houston, and she needs to bring this every night. And furthermore, her teammates need to take this as a challenge, because I think you'll watch the clip of Bailey that we have from the press conference, and she kind of says it like we took too long. to get into what we do well. Ashley was doing it from the jump. We need
Gotcha.
everyone to have that defensive intensity that she has in these clips from the jump. And that's what we did at Houston. So I don't know how she can help her teammates get there, but if they can take on that mentality, not everyone's as good of a defender as she has, but the intensity is what we can't afford not to have it.
Yeah.
Especially against teams like this. But she was great. So we got to give her a shine. We'll talk about the rest of the game. We have some clips from it, but this is the first of Ashley's moments. We love it.
The first of Ashley.
NCAA tournaments.
Watch right here. All up in her.
In 1986 with Jody.
Oh no!
Makes her dribble it off her foot.
That'll be over in the back. Over in back.
Yes.
And she's claps in her face. In her face.
Because that wasn't any.
And shout out that's a freshman, but that girl's big. That girl is good.
Yes,
Rory
she's
Harmon
really good.
was an All-American point guard. I hate it for her. She tore her ACL.
That's really
ever since she's been
unfortunate.
out. Madison Booker is a phenom freshman, one of the best freshmen in the country.
Did she replace?
She was playing for Texas, but she's been in the starting lineup the last 2 games in place of Rory Harmon as a point guard, even though she's 6'1". So she's 6'1". Ashley's listed at 5'7". Going against her, and it wasn't a great matchup at times, and that's probably why Ashley couldn't play the whole game. She posted her up at times, but at other times she annoyed the shit out of this girl.
Yes,
and Booker had about 6 turnovers, and I bet most of them were from when Ashley was in there. So we love it. We'll let you watch this again, but she did this. I tried to find every clip. She got a charge in this half. She had a charge in the first half. She had 2 or 3 steals all in a row right here. She's a pest, and she got us going. She gave us some momentum. The third quarter, we really
needed it.
We really had a chance in the third quarter. We just couldn't make shots. But her defense was great, and it kind of got the rest of our team to play a little more intense. And so we love Ashley on this podcast. We're homers about it. But if you don't love it, then what are we doing?
Goodbye. Yeah, I there's so many clips that we could have. I mean, it's the whole game for Ashley, and this was a great display of that because of knowing that size matchup. And you can see it here in this clip if you weren't there, but there's a play where she's posting her up, she's up and she knows all I can do right now is just be a menace.
She just stepped past her.
But she missed her shot. And I'm that's what's up. Ashley knows, she understands, okay, this is what's against me. That's just going to make me work this much harder in every other way so that I continue to be a menace. I continue to make you miss shots, mess up. It bounced off her foot. That wasn't, she knows how to dribble the ball across the court. Ashley made that so difficult that she broke down in that moment. And it was such a great game to see from her defensively. And that clap back, I'm let's go, girl. Let them know.
She doesn't get a stop on this play, but it's that clapping that you're talking about. She's intense on this clip too. And she really pressures her and tries to get
I can't wait.
Anyway, she's doing. She's
hyped.
She got the intense. Look how intense she is in this.
Oh, she's there. She's already there.
And she was clapping in her face, getting on her, going for the ball, all over, just a pest. That's the defense we need. And I'm not saying everybody can.
Boy, Moore had great
is
position.
capable, and Bailey almost took a charge there.
Over one of the others.
This was kind of the game, right?
Chaotic.
We're just inches away from that could have been a charge, and we're only down. Then we get it back within 20 and. There's just moments like that, but this is the defense, and not everyone's capable of playing that good of defense, but it's the intensity of it that you'd love to see from the rest of the team from the jump. So shout out Ashley. We know you had a little something extra to play for in this one, but I also just want to give her credit in that I think she'll bring that on Saturday too. That's just who she is.
That is just who she is. That's how she shows up. And the best part too about seeing this clip is that the second that she has the ball, Ashley is there. You see her closing in and timing it perfectly to apply that pressure. And it's just, she's a shark, blood in the water. She knows it. And that clap, dude, I'm obsessed with it. It is just, just showing, it's it's so much of her and her personality and how she shows up, and interviewing with her, we were able to see that. And now seeing it in game, it's you go, Ashley, do your thing. It's you. I'm here for it. I know this didn't work out for us in a lot of different ways, and we're going to learn and we're going to grow, but this performance
that's on
hype.
film. We're talking about
Yes!
it. Her teammates are seeing that on film whenever they're getting ready for Houston or when they like that stuff's like we need more of that. And furthermore, the refs in this game were calling everything a foul, and to be able to play this tight of defense and not get a foul called, that's a skill. I'm just saying. Look, she's not touching her anyway. Just
it's a very clear all ball.
Clinic,
Yeah.
just stuff. We love it, Ashley. Now, if you happen to see this for some reason, someone hype, you're awesome.
Shelby,
kids out there, be
this.
Ashley. That's who you want to be as a defender. That's her right there. Another clip that happened to be in the same range of when I was clipping these is basically it pretty much explained the game. It's like there's like 2 good moments back to back. You're like, okay, we have something, and then it's like, ugh. And that's basically what happened. And that because the score of this game, I think we lost by 27.
Let's look.
We were down by 17 at half. We should have been down by 7 at half. We missed too many free throws in the first half. We missed too many bunnies in the first half. Should not been down more than 10. Second half, same kind of stuff. We go on a run. We just couldn't piece it together, right? And there's just you'll see kind of a good summary in these 2 possessions of what the whole game was. So I just went ahead and put it in there.
Cool.
But I think it shows that like if you didn't watch the game, you saw the final score. Like you watch this clip, it wasn't the talent disparity is there, but it's not as drastic as the score. We just didn't quite play up to par, and they did.
And the physicalness and
so this was
embracing
good.
the physicalness,
We got back, great pass, finished it.
Actually,
yes.
All right.
And one.
All right, you know.
Like Texas plays with, it's hard to prepare against.
And then you come down, good defense, good team defense, block out, get the rebound. Oh, fast break, let's go. Let's go.
This is how we play.
We're going to get a 3 out of it? No, it's a charge.
That's going to be enough.
Wait.
So that was the game right there.
Okay.
Where you just felt like you're like, oh, we gotta play, we gotta stop. We're gonna get a J to win 3 here. And Logan was just a little bit out of control. I love that she saw it. I love that she saw the pass she's supposed to make. Yeah. She's gonna get to where she jump stops.
She's growing in that area.
That was a charge. That's not a bad call. That is a charge. She's gonna jump stop in the future there or step away from that girl. It's not gonna. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
That girl stepped right in front of her and played her, and that's just it happened. Bailey did that last year a lot too. She ran over people. It's a freshman thing, but she'll learn from that. But this is like a microcosm of the game. There's another clip. Another thing we did well on the back cut there. Texas was really well prepared. / they're just long and physical for our offense. Is a lot of back cuts, and we tried back cut after back cut after back cut,
and they were shutting it down.
They were open. In the moment, but their arms are so long, their length was so there, they would still fall. We had a lot of turnovers on back cuts, and I don't really know if there was much we could do different on that. They were kind of goading us into it, like they were wanting us to go for it, and then some of them we just weren't making great passes on because their length was forcing us. So I think it was I'm careful how I say this because I don't want it to come off as a lack of toughness, because I'm not saying we're a tough team, and if you haven't watched this team, we're a tough team. This team never quits. They'll give it all. They'll get on the floor. They'll fight with anybody. I do think this team lacks a little bit of physicality, and I don't know if there's anything we can do about that. You know what I mean? I think it's just a body mass issue for a lot of our players. Kyla, Bailey, Logan has it. She's got the muscle. I think Enrique down low can bang around, but Texas was just physical. And so that's what you saw. We were in foul trouble. Some of them were questionable. I get it, but mostly we were trying to get these rebounds and we were getting bodied up. And so then we'd get put out of position and we'd reach and we get a foul called. As we get stronger, that's not going to be an issue, but this is kind of who we are at this point. And that I'm not saying that's a toughness thing. I'm not saying you can't be more physical. Yeah. I think against a team like Texas, they're just really strong, and that's how they play. And maybe by the time we get to Austin, we're going to know that now, because it is a little – we talked about that. Was it UC Irvine, where that's one of those teams you don't understand how quick their hands are on defense until you play against it. We had like 15 turnovers in the first half of that game. They came out at halftime and like, oh, we get it now. And Texas is the same way, but from a physicality standpoint. They play really physical, and the refs were calling it pretty close, but they can't call everything. And they're just a physical team, and they were bumping us off what we wanted to do, and they just played good defense. Texas just played really well. Like, they won the game. It was not a ref issue. There was some iffy calls, but it was mostly they were taller than us. They're bigger than us. Let's just be frank. We know the injuries that we've had this year. That's
Mhm.
something we've dealt with all year. That it is what it is. They've had injuries too. It's fair. We were both
Yeah.
missing 2 starters, really.
Mhm.
So it is what it is. It's basketball. We just couldn't get rebounds. Like I said
Mm.
earlier, we actually played pretty good defense at the point of
Mhm.
attack. Like we in the first quarter, they were taking tough shots. They were missing their first shot. I think
Mhm.
first possession of the game, Kyla blocked a shot.
Yeah.
Blocked a shot on Faye, whatever her name is. She used to play for us. Then she went there and changed how she pronounces her name. But I can't remember which one. I can't remember if it's Faye or Faye. But anyway, blocked her shot, and then they got it back and they scored on the putback. And
Mm.
so it was kind of like that kind of stuff where we would get it. We just could not get the rebound. We couldn't get that second pass. We couldn't get that second ball. We tip it on the press. And like I said earlier, usually that's where Jordan Merritt is or Bailey's back there
Mhm.
on that press and that hole. And for some reason, we just weren't getting them in that game.
Yep.
Maybe that's what Bailey's talking about in the clip we'll show in a
Mhm.
minute, where they just, in her words, maybe weren't playing their brand of basketball quite in
Yeah.
the first half. And she self-admits that. Maybe that's what it was. And they just
Mhm.
weren't playing hard enough quite yet. But they just
Mhm.
weren't there on those second
Yeah.
balls that they usually are. But they were making the plays. So to me, this was an under 10-point game at halftime. If
Yeah.
we make layups and we make free throws, that's basketball. I get it. But the opportunities were there. It didn't feel like a game where it was like, oh my God,
Got
even if we played perfectly,
wrecked.
we'll lose by 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, if
Yeah.
we made our shots, we would have been in the game.
Mhm.
Texas, yes, is overall the quote unquote better team overall because of the height that they have, but we could beat them if we played better. So
Mhm.
it is what it is. Texas is really good, even missing some couple of players. We got out physicaled. We'll move on from it. That's the cool thing about Big 12 play. No time to sulk because you got Kansas. Yeah. And as we kind of said on Twitter, love it or hate it, this was not a game you were counting on. You can't say that before the game.
Yeah.
Of course, the players want to win every game, but I wasn't counting on this game as a win. This was like if you won this game, you're really setting yourself out for success. This is not a win you needed to get to those 9 or 10 wins, is what I'm saying. Kansas, in my opinion, probably is. Texas wasn't, so it's not like the end of the world. You know what I mean? It was just like, damn, that sucks. Hate it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Kansas.
Totally. And I think that's what's tough about this is we want to win these games, and when we don't, it's I can see where people can feel like so
Deflated.
end of the world. Yeah. And defeated. And especially like what you broke down of, this is what you look at when you see the score. We lost pretty bad, but the real story behind it.
Game.
Yeah. And I think
sugarcoat it. It was just not a good game.
Yeah. And I think it's a great thing to bring up when we go through these tough losses is here's what where we've seen growth, and here's what we know about this team and like how they play basketball. And also another component of like the sophomores that are leading this team right now. It's like I know, like, and I think you even mentioned this at one point, saying like blaming it on them being young or whatever. And I do think that component is so important in a lot of different ways. And in this presser that you're going to show here in a minute, like what Bailey has to say about this, I think, is this team is so good and like talent and all of that, but also like understanding the bigger picture, understanding Krista Gerlich's mission and how she wants to grow and like her expectations. And it just didn't work out in that way in this game. And I think you're right. Like it's tough to lose, but we're gonna be okay. And what we talked about in the Houston game is like they adapt, and I'm looking forward to that. I think I'm with you on Kansas. I think it'll be a really great game for us to step up. But to see what they have to say about the Texas game, I think is the perfect way to describe it. We could just end the show on that quote and that whole presser. It's everything that
for sure
makes sense.
Yeah,
so
I agree. Yeah, we'll play that. And then we'll talk about Kansas. But yeah, I think what you're gonna hear from them is what's fun and difficult about sports, right? It's this weird concept where you're like, you have to have this balance, and that's why the coaches that's why they're good at their jobs, right? Because it's a delicate balance, and they have to.
That's
know
why we hired
teams.
them. Yeah,
yeah, they have to know their teams really well to know like how to handle these situations, because it is a delicate balance on. Yeah, there needs to be some accountability here for what happened in this game, but there also needs to be like wipe that out of your brain. We got to move on. We got a whole new opponent. They play a different
Goldfish.
brand of basketball. Move on. Doesn't matter. We'll come back to this game when we play them down the road, right? So yeah, a little bit of that goldfish mentality, and that is what the coaches. They know these players. They know the mental. Different players need it different ways. So that's the fun part of sports. It's really cool about when you're a part of a team and you're a part of the coaches and you have staff that you trust, which Riley McKinney in this clip talks about how they trust their coaches and that they'll have them ready. So I have no doubt they'll be ready for Kansas, just like I had no doubt they were going to be ready for Houston after the Maui trip. So listen to this clip right here and you'll get what I'm saying. It's like a 1.5 minute long clip, so
Cool.
y'all just enjoy it. The first one, part of it, you don't hear the question, but they're basically asking Maupin, y'all played better in the fourth quarter, basically. What happened there in the fourth quarter that y'all seemed to turn it up a little bit like they do in a lot of games? And this was her answer, and then it goes on from there.
And I mean, at that point, it was just time for us to get down to it and fight. And I feel like that's what we started to do at the end of the game. Stopped worrying about everybody else and started focusing more on us and, you know, get down, make the dirty plays, pressure full court. And we should have been doing that the whole game. That's completely on us. We didn't play hard enough in the first half. And that came around to bite us in the end.
We'll have accountability from a sophomore.
Bailey.
How do you kind of turn the page on this one and go to Kansas?
This day's over. This game's over. I'm not going to forget about it, you know. I
Yeah.
hate losing. I've always been like that, but
Yes.
I'm going to remember this. But now it's time to focus on Kansas to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think
Sorry, Kansas.
there's
Good
a
luck.
lot to learn from it. You know, we have a good coaching staff, so they're going to get us in film, show us what we need to work on, and how we can get them the next time. But I think it's just we have a really young team, and so games like this, you know, they're going to be tough, but there's a lot of learning in it.
Yes,
And so
girl.
we're lucky to have the staff that we have because they're going to put us in the right position for Saturday, and that's just what you got to worry about. Being in the Big 12, every game's going to be tough. Every game's hard, and it's always quick turnarounds, and that's kind of a good thing. So, you know, we're going to lock in tomorrow and get ready for Kansas on Saturday.
Riley.
Riley
Dude,
told us in her,
what?
Riley told us in her interview she wants to be a coach. The whole time I was listening to this press conference, I'm like, she already sounds like a coach. She already sounds
She's
like a
done.
coach.
Mission
Player
accomplished.
coach. She's a player coach on this team. Anyway, I just love that clip. You know,
so
sometimes you get
good.
canned responses from players. Neither of those sounded canned.
Facts.
They meant them, especially that question about how are you gonna, like, whatever they said, like, how are you gonna forget about this game? That both of their answers were great. We might post that clip by itself because it'll fire you up.
So
and
good.
It should calm down the masses that are like worried about this team. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen the rest of the year. Maybe we can just jump into that, but it's on the table for them for wins to get, and they're very focused and they know what their goal is, and they just got to get back to work, and they're already back to work. That press conference was yesterday. They're well past.
You heard her.
Kansas.
Heard her.
They're already working on Kansas, which is the next game, Saturday at 2 p.m. The 6th.
All right.
Be there. If you need tickets, reach out to us. We
Seriously.
have a handful of free tickets we can give you right
We would-
now. We
We would
find
be
you
so
more.
stoked to do that.
We'll
Can you
get
imagine?
you to this game if buying tickets is what's holding you back. Just reach out
If-
to us. We need
Honestly,
to
if
fill.
anything's holding you back,
If anything's, I'll buy you a freaking Uber.
we'll buy you a. No, we can't make
No, we
promises.
can't.
This is the internet, Shelby.
Calm down.
How dare you?
So we'll get you a party bus.
Yeah, we're like, we'll buy you a car and pay for the insurance forever. And we're gonna
Someone
get
will.
clipped, and we're gonna get got, Shelby.
It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna buy y'all a
Y'all
car, but I
know.
will get you to the game if I need to. You
Yeah,
can
we'll
go
figure it
there and
out.
be
We'll
us.
figure
I'm
it
back in North Carolina, so I won't be there.
Way to go,
Yeah.
Shelby. How dare you?
Yeah, we're no longer on site there, but we'll still get to games as much as we can, and we'll get the people in the seats when you can. But it's a big game.
Let's do it.
This Kansas game, I think we can beat Kansas. They have brief preview on them. They have Tiani Jackson, who owned us last year. We'll be frank. She's 6'6", athletic, can move. 6'5" or 6'6". She's tall. You remember her when you see her. And
Oh,
Kansas is a completely different team with her on the court. And when she's on the court, they're a top level of the conference team. They started out the year ranked, and they've had kind of a tough season. I think they're 7-4. The problem is she keeps getting in foul trouble. They don't have a lot of depth this year behind her. And
We're taking
so when
charges,
she's on the
baby.
bench, this is a different team. And so it's an easy strategy for me to sit here and say, yeah, just get her in foul trouble. But literally, like, just get her in foul trouble. I don't know the execution to that,
I
coach.
don't-
That's y'all. I know they're working on that. But
Nobody.
that's what Iowa State did. Iowa State just beat them on Wednesday. That's what West Virginia got her. West Virginia, she had 4 fouls, only played about 20 minutes, and in Iowa State, she fouled out. She had 5 fouls.
Gotcha.
So it's a problem. She has a problem, and it was a problem for her last year too. And we talked about trying to get her in foul trouble, and we just couldn't. But by God, I know we've had injuries in the front court, but we are still deeper this year in the front court than we were last year. We're just not taller. Last year, we love her, Big Cat. Wish you were still here, but she was kind of she was the one down there.
Yeah.
And she got in foul trouble, and then when she was out of the game, we had nobody.
Yes,
this year we
I
have Jordan
remember
Merritt
this
we can
now.
throw at her. We have Alina Enrique we can throw at her. We have Kyla Freeland we can throw at her. They're gonna be down there banging around trying to get fouls on her somehow. I don't know what there's a much more pristine strategy than that, but that is everyone's strategy. It's Kansas. Outside of that, they have good shooters. What's her name? Something guys started whatever. Anyway, she's been there. She's a great player. I can never remember her name. I'll pull it up now. It's
Dare you, Shelby?
It's like a German sounding name. She can shoot the lights out of it from 3. Every time when we played Kansas last year, their announcers kept comparing Bailey Maupin to this girl and saying like, "Oh, Bailey's gonna be like her when Bailey's a senior." Like has similar build to Bailey, but she's ripped. Like all this stuff. She can shoot. She plays defense really well, and she came back for her 5th. She came back for her 5th year. Holly Kurgskeider,
okay,
something like that. Anyway, I remember her last year. Her and I think she went off against us in Kansas when we did get Jackson out of the game. She hit a bunch of 3s. She shoots 46% from 3, and she's gotten a lot of them up. She's kind of their leader in the guard. And they have some other good guards.
Oh, I remember her.
You'll remember her when you see her play. She went off at Kansas when we played her last year. This year, I think we only play Kansas this one time, and it's at home, which is nice. But we need it would be a big win. It's too early in the season to say it's a must win. But if you lose this game, there's a lot of making up you got to do down the line. You need to win one on the road, which they're very capable of. You just put yourself in a much better position when you win your home games. So you got to find a way to deal with Jackson. I'm sure this coaching staff's going to come up with a good game plan. I'm not worried about that. She's a great player. She's one of the best players in the country when she's on the floor. It's got to be frustrating as a Kansas fan to watch them play basketball, being like, if you could just stop fouling, we would be winning every game. But it's just a thing that she has. So we can find a way to combat it. And even if she doesn't get in foul trouble, still find a way to win the game. I think our guards overall, that girl's good. She's seasoned. She knows what she's doing. She's not going to get flustered and turn it over a lot or anything like that. That's not... I think they only average like 13 turnovers a game. So it's not a team that we're going to be able to necessarily bank on turning them over, probably. But then again, we are like 4th in the Big 12 in causing turnovers, so maybe we can meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But that's not it. I think our guards maybe just might be a little more athletic and can actually take them on the drive a little bit more when Jackson's out of the game and not there to rim protect. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah. I'm not getting into it more than that. That's what the coaches are there for. They'll have a game plan. They've watched them play a lot more. I've only seen snippets and then what we played last year. Kansas, for those that will or maybe not remember, went on to win the WNIT last year.
They did.
In the WNIT, they were also they won the whole thing. They returned a lot of those players. So they came into the year ranked in the top 25, and they've just kind of had an up and down year, but they're a very capable team. Yeah. And they've lost their first 2 games. They kind of got ran out of the gym by West Virginia, which West Virginia plays very similar to us. They press.
Yeah.
They're just a little more cohesive at it at this point, but we have that ability, and so maybe that's a good sign if we do that. Kansas is not very deep. They play like 7 players max. All year, not just
unrelatable.
Got the conference. Like we've shortened our bench a little bit in conference, but they've been doing it since first game of the year. So I think we can get them
unrelatable.
So yeah, I think it's a big game. Win that one, and then you have Oklahoma State, which has become a little bit of a natural rival for a lot of different reasons. So we won't get into, but I really would like to beat Oklahoma State. I'm not necessarily. This is not necessarily one I'm putting down as a win. When I'm counting to 10, I can pull up my list of like before the season. I picked like, okay, these are the 10 wins we can get in conference. But I do I think we're capable of going on the road to Stillwater and beating Oklahoma State? Absolutely. If we go on the road and play like we did in the first quarter at Houston, we can beat almost any team in the conference, right?
Yes,
But
agreed. Retweet.
Oklahoma State is kind of hard to figure out because they've had so many injuries this year. They recently had a player leave the program. They went and added a player that played at Kansas State for 4 years. They picked up a player like 3 or 4 days ago out of the portal that didn't get picked up by anybody. She's a 5th-year senior that will be with the team the rest of the year because they're short on guards. So it's like a hard team to scout in the sense that they've been getting players back. They got a post
What can you
player
scout? Yeah.
that played at Baylor, then followed Mulkey to LSU, didn't play. She transferred to Stillwater last year, didn't play, but she just recently started playing for them in the last few games and has been doing good. So I don't really know what we're getting out of Oklahoma State is what I'm saying. I watched them play earlier in the year, and they have a really good freshman, Staley Hurd or something.
Okay.
But they didn't have a big then. Now they got a big, but they lost a guard because she left the team. I don't know the situation there, but it's just a little confusing. And I'm sure the coaches are in the same. They're like, I don't know what we're gonna get in that game, to be frank.
Yeah.
And they're 1-1. I think they beat Cincinnati maybe yesterday. One of the new teams. They lost to Iowa State to start Big 12 play. So they're 1-1 coming into just like we are coming into Saturday. I don't know who they play on Saturday. We can look it up. But anyway, you go on the road and get that. It's a big one. So I don't know what your thoughts are on those.
Yeah, I mean, you cover it in a way.
Note in there. I like it.
Which note? Oh yeah. Okay,
I didn't put that. You put that.
I know I put that. I'm revisiting my thought process because, like you, Shelby, bring to this show a talent that is beyond any other of like breaking down opponents. And so everything that you're saying, I'm like, okay, this makes sense.
Appreciate it.
I hear you. So my prediction is I think
Cindy's predictions, they always come true. So tell us.
They don't always. I think I don't because
well,
I always am like national champions.
They did always come true in soccer because you're like, we're gonna win this game, whatever, and we just never lost. So it's a little unfair, but
we didn't. It's a really soundproof plan for soccer. So I'm like, we're gonna win all the time. But yeah, I think with what I'm looking forward to is like Kyla Freeland. I think these are gonna be really important games for her, and I'm expecting a breakout performance. She's due. She's due.
I like this.
I'm really leaning into that, and I'm putting it into seeing Scarlett, and so it's gonna happen. But Kyla Freeland, I think this is a time for her to shine.
Yeah, I like that. She could beat she could beat Kansas down the floor too, but definitely I think she could beat that big from Oklahoma State down the floor.
Oh my gosh. What a fun matchup. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm here for the Kyla Freeland game. She's had a couple of games in a row where she's been in foul trouble. We kind of talked about like that's the only way you can stop Kyla Freeland is herself getting herself in foul trouble. Yeah. And that's youth. But I'm here for that. Let Kyla Freeland go off. I think we might see a Jazzy Shavers game somewhere there.
Oh, I'd
like
that.
To see that. Bailey has just been consistent, which you love from Bailey. I've been seeing she's been even getting a little bit of that fire that you need someone on the team to get. You saw it from Riley, but she's not playing as much. But we need someone that's on the court at all times to have that. And
I loved Jordan Merritt too in this game against Texas. That was really nice to see from her both these past 2 games. Because I think Hawaii was tough with her, but dude, shoot, we could go through the whole roster talking about how each one of them could pop off.
Yeah, and people can say you're homers or whatever, but there really are things you can take from even games like Texas. Like it was an ugly game. Like I can't. I'm not going to sit here and say we played well. We didn't. Yeah. But there's like moments that you're like, oh, like Ashley was, her defense was great. Oh my god! You saw Jordan Merritt. That was the most confident she's looked on a shot in a long time. It was clean. She made that 3. She shot another one later in the game that went in and out. I don't care if she makes them. I just like to see Jordan Merritt shooting confidently because she is such a capable player. And I just for her, like it's like, I'm a fan, but I just want her to know how good she is at basketball and to believe it and just play it. Because I don't want her to be a player that 10 years from now is like, man, I was really freaking good at basketball. I should have realized that and leaned into it more. Like, you got 2 years left. Like, Jordan Merritt, you are her. Like,
oh my god! Yes,
you
go.
You saw her do that moments in Houston, And
Mhm.
there's like you gotta watch Jordan Merritt play because even on defense, like she makes
dude.
smart moves. If you just watch her, she'll step up in a
Yes.
hole and slow down the driver. That's not gonna show up on a box score, but she
Mhm.
stopped them from driving. Like there's things that she does when she's really locked in that
Mhm.
really propel this team forward, and so. We need to see more of that. And she got in foul trouble like everybody did against Texas because of the physicality
right.
issue.
Yeah.
That's just Texas. We moved on from that, right? It's a different team. I think we did not have Jordan Merritt last year against Tiani Jackson. She still has inches on Jordan Merritt, but I think Jordan Merritt can match up with her
Bring that
athleticism-wise.
heat. Yeah,
And
dude.
so she'll be important just like Kyla, and all of them will. Enrique
And
will have
that's-
her own banging around down there as well. So
Oh, I know. That one's
I love it.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
excited
fun to watch
for them
too.
against Kansas. I think they come out with the right mojo. They've already
Yeah.
proven multiple times this year that they can forget a bad game
Yeah.
and move on. And I think they're going
Yes.
to do that on Saturday against Kansas.
And Bailey said it best. She talked about how we weren't
Gosh,
playing true to ourselves, and that's what we're talking about. Like what you just said about Jordan, I'm like, yeah. Like that's it. Like
That's one of the things I'm most passionate
it.
about. Because like if you've been there, like I just hate to see players that you just like. I don't know them personally, so I don't know. I could be wrong, but
Mhm.
I just hate to think about players realizing it too late. You know, like damn, because it happens all the time. You're like 5 years later, you're like, man, I was really good at basketball, and
play
I
college
didn't
hoops.
realize it. I mean, not at their level, but yeah. I mean, for
So
a
did you-
brief time, life happens. But
Yeah.
no, you could say that. Like, I didn't realize that I was even at that level until you get older, and you're like, oh, I guess I was pretty good at that game. You know,
Hell
I guess
yeah,
I was
Shelby.
pretty good at it, but not at their level. They're a whole nother level. Like she is
I hear you.
elite.
I
know?
hear you.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like, we're
No, I hear you. Yeah.
different classes of humans. When it
It's
comes
still
to that. So-
important, but we'll talk
but
about
I
that
get
later.
that
But
side of it, like sports psychology side of it, and that's stuff I'm really passionate about. And I see that in these players, and I don't know them well enough to know for sure. But sometimes watching the games, you're like, man, you can see it when players
Totally.
are playing confident and then when they're not. And
Yeah.
that's all I want from them is to be like,
Play
I'm
your
good
game.
At basketball. Yeah, just
Yes,
y'all are good
that's-
at basketball.
Yeah.
Like, don't listen to that voice in your head that says you're not. Like, y'all are all hoopers because you're here for a reason. And just
let's
hoop.
go.
And when our team does what they do, like they did against Houston, like
They hoop.
we just hoop and we just play basketball and we play free. We can play
win.
with pretty much anybody in the Big 12. You're going to come up against teams that just physicality-wise, because of injuries and all that, it is what it is. You don't need to win all 18 games. No one's going to do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that to make the tournament. Good teams make the tournament. Maybe we can't be great every night, but if we're good every night, we can make the tournament.
Oh.
Get
That's it.
Done.
That's it. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm
Bo.
hype.
Let's go.
I'm hype. Yeah, I think you put it perfectly. I don't know what else we can say about this team, but we could probably talk about them forever. Should we move on?
We can save it for another day. Someone asked us on Twitter what games they think we can win to get to 10, but how much time have we been talking?
I wrote that. I wrote
it for another day?
I wrote that down for us to do. So let's do that next show. Teaser, everybody.
Yeah.
Next
Well,
show.
one of them on my list is Kansas. I'm not
Okay.
going to say need that game, but it does make your life easier. It's on my list
Totally.
of ones that you need for 10. So was Houston, because I made them before the season, and those two were the start. So
Wow.
I think it's
Yeah.
doable to get it done. But if not, you regroup and get one in Oklahoma. It's fine.
Let's watch this team like really lean into who they are. And we see Ashley do like her defensive legendary performance. We see Kyla Freeland just I was about to say dunk on him, but I mean literal dunk on him. Y'all.
It's coming. Someday it's coming.
She dunked in high school. I'm like right
got the
ish.
rim.
She got the rim? Okay. I think it's time.
We're gonna give it to her. She grabbed the rim.
I'm gonna give it to everybody all the time. But like it
Closer
could
than I will ever
be
get in my lifetime.
I'm really looking forward to that. Like what you just said put me through. I'm gonna run through a brick wall. We can't wait to see it. Y'all do you. Y'all hoop, and we'll be here to talk about it next week.
This time next week we'll give you our games, and I don't know what her games are, but hopefully if either of ours are this week, they're both checked off. We're both, and we'll get there. Because 9-10 wins. That's what you gotta stay focused on, fans. We're gonna lose games in Big 12.
Okay.
You ain't winning every game. It's just not gonna happen. But you gotta get to 10 wins. 9 or 10 wins, you make the tournament. That's the goals. That's the goal. We're at 1 right now. You got 16 more games to go. You need 8 more.
All right.
Book it. All right.
Okay, let's talk about it next week.
I could talk about basketball forever, but
clearly.
Y'all know me. Y'all get me started on basketball, and I won't shut up about it. But y'all don't want to listen to me talk about that forever. So
if y'all ever want to talk about something else, put it in the comments, and
what would it be?
We'll consider
Lacrosse. I got nothing.
I mean, if
give me a game, I'll watch it.
Shelby will analyze the shit out of any game, and I'll be like,
scoop move?
oh my gosh, wait, okay, we're talking about men's football first. Let's stay on track, and then we'll move to football. But I was going to talk about football having so much fun at the bowl game, but we need to talk about men's basketball to stay in order.
It's a big one. Yeah, but men's basketball, they've been doing what they do. They haven't started conference yet, so we haven't.
About to.
Yeah, we're not gonna. The women are playing conference, so we're gonna spend a lot. We're always gonna spend a lot of time on there. Y'all know how we do around here.
Y'all know. Yeah, I know.
I love basketball. We watch men's basketball. They're getting a lot of coverage. They don't need us to sit here and spend a whole hour on them. But they've been playing great. I actually like how they're playing. Their intensity, the toughest team wins mentality. They seem to be coming together.
Yes.
Better, and they played Northern Alabama. I think they played recently, and they gave some Big 12 teams some trouble in their games, and we beat them pretty handily the other day. So we're getting better.
Good sign.
For me, the men's team is very similar goals in my mind. I'm not. Hey, if they go win the Big 12, they go win the 12. Great. My goal, first year of a new coach, make the tournament. They need probably about the same. Big 12 men and Big 12 women hoops are very similar. The men's is elite, best conference in the country. Big 12 basketball this year and the women's is similar. So you need 9 or 10 wins, you'll get in. That's their goal. They start on Saturday.
Against?
With the big one, number 20 Texas. The women couldn't quite get it done, but the boys are going to go down to Austin in that new fancy arena they got down there.
They're at Austin?
Mateo. Yeah.
Too? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. You can check that, but I'm pretty sure,
I'm
they're in
right.
the Moody Center on Saturday, and I'm sure our boy Mateo Nomero will be there. Give
Matt.
them hell. And they were playing number 20 Texas. Go down there on the road. We've done it before. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Texas Tech fans there. And horns down, get it done for us. Get a little revenge for the gals.
Please.
And we'll flip it around and go down the Moody Center at the end of the year and get it done on
and
the
take care of
women's side
business.
too. So that's what they got coming up. So Big 12 play starts then, and then I believe who do they play after that? On Wednesday or Tuesday?
That's a great question.
Or are they off?
That I can look up the answer to.
Boom.
And
but Pop Isaacs got Big 12 Player of the Week this week. I believe he had 2 really good games against their opponents over Christmas break, if you will.
Yeah, and then they're coming back to Lubbock on January 9th. That's Tuesday against Oklahoma State. So we're playing a very similar schedule so far.
We are playing a similar schedule.
How similar is it? That makes sense
just follow
logistically.
Each other around the Big 12.
Logistically. Anyway,
that's cute. Thanks, Big 12.
Yeah, so that's men's basketball, and then football. Briefly, they won.
That was a long time ago.
They seem to have fun. It was such a long time ago, but like, what a great cap.
Oh yeah, that was our.
What?
That was the clip where Sibby's just like, I forgot we made that TikTok. I just want them to have fun that night. We recorded that the day of the bowl game. That's what it was.
That's right.
And then that night, the bowl game happened, and they did the little ring around the Rosie, Patrick Mahomes,
the Kansas City.
Play. All they did was have fun. They did exactly what Sibby asked them to do. They were out
and
there
they won. Like that's what sports is to me. If you have fun and then you win, like wow, what a treat.
Sure.
34 to 14 against Carolina, the Independence Bowl champs, Texas Tech football. Good job, Joey.
So I mean, we're the national. That means we're the national champions, right? Independence.
Yes.
Sounds national champion.
Independence. And what a great cap for Joey. Joey,
if
you want to come talk to us about it, come talk to us about.
Fan of the podcast.
Come talk to us about this stuff and
come on the show, buddy.
We'll ask you questions and it'll be really fun.
Yeah. Welcome anytime, Joey Mack. No, I love it. He's having a good offseason. They've had a really good. They're up there in the top portal classes.
Oh my gosh, Micah.
Classes.
Dude.
That's freshman classes.
Sorry.
Micah's already on campus. He's enrolling. Speaking of enrolling early, we have a lot of athletes enrolling early. He's enrolling early. A bunch of the other freshmen for football are as well. Callista Bird
Enrolling
Martin, remember,
early.
is enrolling early in January. So
That's right.
we'll start seeing her on the bench. She's not going to play.
Callista,
Don't
let's-
get excited.
But she's gonna be on the
But-
bench. That's cool.
Yeah, she'll be there on kind of like how Jazzy Shavers did that.
Mm.
Chevalier did that 2 years ago when they transferred mid-season. She's not a transfer, but she graduated early so she could get in the weight room and get in the
Really?
practices, and so she won't be a true freshman come fall, which will be huge because she'll play a big role for us next year. So
Is that the
she's a great
norm?
player.
Or
It's become the norm in football for sure. A lot of the best
Okay.
players enroll early, especially quarterbacks, because it
Huh.
takes so long to learn a playbook. But it is starting to become more and more normal in basketball on both the men's and the women's level. But it's not super normal. Like I don't know the last time a Texas Tech women's player did this out of high school. We've had a couple transfers. Jazzy Shavers and Ashley both came mid-year from a different
Okay.
college. But out of high school, this is new. I mean, it's probably happened, but I don't remember of it.
Yeah.
We weren't covering
Yeah.
the team this closely, but
Cool.
so yeah, so
Curious,
it's cool.
yeah.
That's big of her. I mean, you're sacrificing your senior year, but that tells you how dedicated she is to basketball, and that's the type
Oh,
of player
Callista
that-
Bird, let's go.
She's gonna be fun. She's a late bloomer, so to speak, and she's like up to 6'2" or 6'3" right now, and plays
Okay.
guard, power forward, all of it. She's gonna be a fun. She's Kyla Freeland, similar but more polished because she's been playing basketball longer. And Kyla was more of a track star. So yeah, love it. She's gonna be fun.
Cool.
A lot of enrollees. Micah's on campus soon. All of them.
My God.
And speaking of new athletes that
Dude,
are
tell
so
us.
also coming early, the
We
fun
cooking in
doesn't
the
stop.
off season. The off
All of
season,
our,
no
all
days
of our
off.
sports are like, hey, we know we don't play for what 9 months. We're
Hey,
gonna bring
Steve
in.
Scarlett, you bored?
You
Okay,
bored?
let's.
Yeah. What was it? New Year's Day? You're not doing
Yeah.
anything. Let me drop a few transfers.
We need something to talk
so
about.
volleyball. I don't remember if we talked about this. If we did, we're gonna repeat it. The Virginia Tech transfer volleyball. This happened a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember if it happened after or before our show, but we're gonna say it again. But volleyball's added 3 players in the transfer portal since the season ended. Hannah Borer. Hannah, love you.
Hannah, tell us.
Let us know if we're saying
Hannah,
that wrong.
tell us. That's cool.
Don't be afraid. Just say,
hey, idiots.
send us a message.
Stop doing that.
First of all, Raising Cane's sign Hannah to a deal. We see you out there working, Hannah. We're gonna do our best. She's
Get
out there
that
posting.
bag.
She's posting Raising
I love
Cane's right
Raising
across from
Cane's.
campus. She can walk there. I know
Girl.
y'all are sponsoring tech athletes all the time. Get her.
Uh-huh.
She's already the best spokesperson I've seen for Raising Cane's, and she's not even a spokesperson yet. So anyway, shout out Hannah. She signed great player from Virginia Tech. She will be a junior. She's a rising junior, meaning she will be a junior
Let's go.
next year for us as a setter. And she had 872 assists, which would have led our team last year. And she was 6th in all of ACC in assists. So she's a solid player. We're getting a good player. I think she might have been recruited by the staff out of high school. That was the connection there. And just she ended up somewhere else. There's some connection of that matter, I believe I read in the article they put out on her. So
Sure.
she seems really hyped to be here. I love the
Cool.
energy she's bringing on social. And that one was a bit ago. And we actually had to talk to Bryn Williams about her because that came out the same day we were interviewing
Oh,
Bryn.
yeah.
That's on YouTube. I think
Oh,
they're going to be
Bryn's so
roommates. They
great.
talked about. And so go listen to that. And then
That's hype.
just recently we had 2 more that just kind of came out of the blue.
No, it's because
They
Team
announced it on
Scarlett's bored.
Instagram. It was literally like New Year's Day, so we weren't like, expecting something, but someone was like, "Hey, did y'all see this?" I'm like, "No, we didn't." And they just posted it. So we saw it, we posted it. Mia Wesley from Southern Miss has been, no exaggeration, one of the most consistent players in college volleyball in her career. She has been all conference every single year she's been in college. She's set records. She's had historic seasons for Southern Miss Golden Eagles there. She has the sophomore record in school history for kills in a season, I believe, 579. Her sophomore year was just insane. She was first team all conference. And then she's past year, she was second team all conference. But when I was doing my little Twitter hunt, there was a lot of people saying she got robbed, should have been first team. Anyway, she's an outside hitter, so she's going to slide into that role, which is a role that Bren really had to carry last year, and we lost. I believe Merrick will be back, right? But we lost Dugan, our stalwart that's been here for years, is gone in that position. So Bren needed another partner in crime there, and we brought this girl in who's done it and will be a great one for her to learn from and really work well together, I think. So she's athletic. You can go find videos on her. She's social media. Go find her. She had a cool little announcement video too, so she seems to like the
The
marketing side of
vibe
things.
check.
So.
Yeah.
Vibe check
Yeah.
was there. I think I sent it to Sibby. I was like, we're gonna maybe able to make
This
a lot
is
of
good.
gifs.
Yeah.
a lot of gifable content from Mia. So
That's what I'm
we
saying.
love you already, Mia. If you're watching this, we're hyped for it. You got the vibes. You and Bryn are gonna make some great
Come turn up.
celebrations on the court. We're
Come
hyped.
turn
And
up.
she's not coming alone. She's bringing another senior with her, Reagan Lennon. I'm gonna go with that. Also an
From-
outside hitter. I think she might play some other positions as well, but she had 132 kills. Again, you're playing alongside this girl who's getting. We didn't even say like she had like
You need to
400 kills last year. This
You
girl
need to
had
tell
also had
the
100.
you need to tell the people that she's also in Southern Miss. But yes, keep going.
That's what I said. She's bringing her teammate along.
Okay, well, just
Yeah, sorry.
clarifying.
They're both coming from Southern Miss,
Yeah.
and she's also a senior, but she is from Texas. She's
I
from
know.
Amarillo. She's
right down the road.
in high school over there in Amarillo, so she's returning to where she's gonna have lots of fans. In the
Come
stands,
on
and
home, girl.
We love it. So she's coming home, and she's bringing a friend with her. So
Yeah.
we love it. I think those are solid pickups. So I'm excited for that, and we have a really
Yeah.
nice freshman class that's coming in, and I think they're more offensive minded as well. So
Mhm.
we'll see if we pick up any middle blockers or if Reagan's just going to be out there doing her thing by herself. I don't know.
I
I'm sure we
know.
have people. We'll figure out who's going to be out there with her, but we know we have
Mhm.
Reagan Engler back, so that's
And this
exciting.
is-
I'm excited.
That's the thing. It's such a nice, refreshing moment right now of, there was some panic with the volleyball program and
fair.
with our players
win.
that were in that way. So I think this is a nice, hey everyone, it's okay. Like
Okay,
come on,
everybody breathe.
come here.
Come on over. Come on over.
This is just reality. And we're all good.
It seems like all the players that left found homes from.
Yeah.
They all seem
that was
happy
also
where they're
hype.
going.
Yeah.
So
We
love that
if
for
y'all
them.
we went and replied to all of those and we were like, hey, you take care of everyone,
Yeah,
all right? Like
take care
this is our
That's our gal.
So that's how
Everybody
we
got to do what they wanted to do, and these players are going to come and do what they want to do at Texas Tech. And
That's
I love
what I'm
it for 'em.
saying. Turn
Speaking
up.
of
Let's go.
supporting them, Bryn Williams,
Bryn.
rising junior on the team as well next year.
Big fan.
Star on the team this year. Great. Watch her
What a
interview. She
great-
put out a great video the other day that now there's NIL merch for the volleyball
Yes.
team.
Yes,
Check out her social media. Check out
that.
Fanatics. You can buy Texas Tech volleyball players gear. You can pick your
That's
number.
a brand, y'all
You
know.
can get any of them. They get money for that as NIL. So if you want some volleyball gear, which is hard to find, you can find volleyball gear now. It's on Fanatics, but you can also support your favorite athlete. You can get a Bryn Williams. I don't know if they quite have Mia Wesley and Reagan on there yet, but
Oh.
Reagan Lennon. We have two Reagans. Anyway, we'll figure that out as we go along the season. And Hannah, I don't know if we have the newbies on the list yet, but I'm sure they'll be there soon. And you have all your favorites on there.
Oh,
probably,
this is so cool.
go buy
I'm
'em.
looking at it now. Yeah. Y'all go look at it. It's like the old school print. They have a couple of shirts and you can put, any player on there, and they have youth jerseys.
Yeah,
and
they
that's
must be
really
out of
hype.
adult jerseys, but
I agree, but there's also like a bunch of kids that go volleyball as a sport is really taking off, especially in the state of Texas. So y'all go
growing.
look because this
it's
is
growing.
that's
It's the
how
fastest growing sport in America for young girls.
that makes sense. Well, cool.
Facts.
Yeah, Bryn Williams, great interview, great gal, great merch.
Great merch.
Do it.
Personable. But
And we weren't done with
yeah, you let them know. You do the soccer. Go for it.
I mean, well, you were able to catch more of this, but soccer signing a goalkeeper, Grace Piling?
I don't know.
Piling?
Grace,
Yeah.
let us know, Grace. We're gonna butcher it because
International talent. Yeah, come and talk to us. Like we open that corner all the time. You come yell at us in our DMs and we're gonna be like, okay, you're the best. Thank you for letting us know. Bye.
names are important. Names are important. Let us know.
For real, my name's Sibby, y'all. Like, I get it. Like, let us know, please. But yeah, Grace, it's huge. Huge signing for us. Our goalkeeper, as y'all know, Madison White. We'll talk a little bit about some exciting news about them. Don't spoil it, Shelby. Not that you would, but that's a huge position that we're going to be missing, and we have some great returning players. Sydney and who is our other goalkeeper? Shelby's looking it up.
Madison Mueller was a freshman this year. Should be a
I was like,
sophomore.
there's like a
another
duplicate
Madison, but
somewhere.
it's Madison Mueller. I'm
Mueller.
pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. That's
Okay.
how it reads.
So-
Is a sophomore. Both really good players, and then this girl they're bringing in sounds like a stud as well. She's 18, so she'll be a freshman, I assume, in college. So
Awesome. Yeah.
a couple of young ones in it. Sounds like a senior. Sydney's a senior, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the best goalkeeper coach, is what I'm told. So I'm
Blair-
taking Sib's word for it. I only saw that this year. Madison was already good. He took her to another level.
That's true.
So
It's easy.
he's
Yeah.
proven it. He's proven it.
I think yeah, and what I've heard about Blair from people in that community that interact with him, it sounds like he knows what he's doing, and Tom Stone knows what he's doing, and he's building that team around it. And so Grace is going to be a huge addition to this. She has 7 caps. That means that she's playing in games with the youth national team, both for Wales and England. And when y'all think about the goalkeeper position, that is competition that you have to compete against X amount of people. It's only one goalkeeper as opposed to like a few midfielders, backs, forwards, things like that. So really cool to see that from Grace. And yeah, she gets to be a part of a legendary program. And with goalkeepers specifically, Shelby and I did a kind of a review of goalkeepers that have really impacted this program. And Texas Tech Twitter, I think they put out something too. So go look at it to understand how big of a deal this is. So welcome, Grace, to not only the United States of America, but to Texas. I tell you what, girl, yeah, the dirt.
Well, don't we have a team? One of our coaches, Nick, isn't he from Wales?
Yeah,
Nick?
he
That's
is.
part of the
Nick's
connection.
great.
So she won't feel that far from home.
That's true. Fish and chips. Yep. I'm not going to go down that road. I don't
There's
know.
not a lot of water
much.
in Lubbock, but we'll figure that out for you. We'll figure out what we can help you out with. We'll get you set up.
Come here. Sign the piece of paper first. Anyway,
we
but
play
that's
soccer here, and we play it well. That's all she cares
we
about.
do. That's
You
the
wanna win a
thing,
natty?
y'all.
Come on over.
That's the thing. So yeah, really exciting for soccer to have that, but even more so to carry the momentum from this past season that was so historical. I still can't get over how special of a season that was, Shelby. Then we got to cover it all, but
we're so spoiled,
so spoiled, and even more so, we get to celebrate some players even more. So y'all, another thing you have to watch is the National Women's Soccer League, the NWSL, the professional league for women's soccer in this country. The draft for that league is coming up on January 12th, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we have 3 players that are going to be in the draft. That is Madison White. That's Hannah Anderson. That is Alex Kerr. All have their names in the hat. And dude, I am so stoked for this. This is let alone to just be a name into the draft that is, again, a really competitive league. There's not a lot of slots that are open. So to have that,
there's only 2 rounds, right?
It's like it's real small.
Way.
Yeah. And so this is a huge deal.
14 teams, 2 rounds. What is that? 28 chances. So
and is it 14 teams that have included the new teams that have been added?
Team. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, regardless, it is, and especially like with some of these positions too. But it really exciting. Watch, support them, hype them up on that day. We're gonna be watching. We're gonna be live tweeting somehow, I'm sure. Probably yelling at everybody that doesn't pick any of these players. Like, dumb move, Casey
idiot.
Current. Dumb move, Louisville Racing.
Patrick Mahomes. What are you thinking up there in Kansas City?
Let's go.
Or I guess his wife is Brittany Mahomes. Whoever owns the
Brittany, girl, we
love you, Brittany.
You know the Red Raiders. You know how Red Raiders roll. Just take all 3 of them.
All 3 of them, they have entered their names in the draft. All 3 of them. There's one person on Twitter that seems to cover the draft, and he does have all 3 of them in his tier 1 of each position.
Oh,
but it doesn't say like that means they're going to be drafted. But like of the center backs, he has Hannah in the tier 1.
Oh my god!
Status. Of the goalkeepers, he has Madison in the tier 1.
We're not biased.
There's like 10 people in each tier. And Alex Kerr is of the middle forwards of the tier 1 group too. So and he does it all by analytics. It's like based on win percentage.
And you know what? So. Like I think another component of this too. I don't know if I want to say it because I don't know.
Say it.
I have to think too, like if there's like reference checks or like some connections to Tom Stone, like I think he has such a great outlook on like these players and what they can contribute to a team. And those three in particular, like Madison, Hannah, Alex, it's like, yeah, you're getting a great center back, you're getting a great goalkeeper, you're getting a great striker, but you're getting like some you're getting the captain of the Texas Tech team that just had a historic run. You're getting Madison White, and I know
She
we're
played a
biased.
lot of soccer. Her and I mean, all of them played a lot of soccer. They've seen it all.
It's just
so.
really cool to
We only got to see Alex for 1 year, but they're all
I know.
all good.
Anyway, so a really cool celebration for them. So make sure you watch it again. That's January 12th.
I'm getting their jersey wherever they go, because whether
Oh
they
my
get
God,
drafted
for
or not,
real.
they're all pro players if they so choose to play pro. Because obviously, if you don't go to the NWSL, there's really good teams in the Europe leagues, and they're very capable and could go find. It just matter if they want to go over there, and they're soccer players, so that's up to them. But if they go over there, I'll get their jersey. Speaking of that, go check out Brie Amber Scott's social. She sold jerseys. I told her I'd give her a plug. She sold her jerseys earlier in the fall, and I got one from her, and I just got back to North Carolina today, and I had it in the mail today. It looks awesome. I posted a picture.
And she autographed it, right?
Yeah, she'll autograph it. And
oh my God.
I asked her if she was going to sell some more, and she's like, yeah, people are asking. So she said she's going to put some more on sale. She's playing. She's a professional basketball player over in Spain now. Brie Amber Scott, who was a just absolute baller for the Lady Bears the last couple of years. And she's doing the thing over there. She's already had like a 30-point double-double already, and she's a rookie. So she's doing it. You can get one of her jerseys, and she said she's going to put them back on sale soon. So just keep an eye out. That I think it's just Brie Amber Scott on Twitter, or X is her name, but you'll find her.
Yeah, it's Brie Amber S, BREAMBERS, all one. And yeah, and the jerseys are sick. Like,
oh, they're awesome. They're awesome. They're really good quality too. Yeah, I got it today, so it's nice.
All right, dang, Brie.
We're all about supporting the gals now and forever. Like we covered you. We'll if we can. We support the ones we didn't even cover, but obviously we have a little bit more of a little bias.
It makes sense.
The ones we cover.
Yeah,
but we're gonna support y'all wherever you go. So we love it.
100%. So yeah, we have a lot coming up. The home games that we have coming up with Kansas.
Be there on
Be
Saturday.
there.
Love
so
it.
important.
Spirit Arena. Again, if you just happen to tune in and you want to go to the basketball game on Saturday and buying tickets is what's holding you back, I get it.
Let us know.
Reach out. We do have a lot of free tickets because season ticket holders reach out to us when they can or can't be at the games because everyone's traveling different times of the year. And we have a few that aren't going to be there this weekend. They want to make sure someone's in their seats. We'll probably post about it. We'll just reach out. We're not gonna say no. Like we'll find a way to get you to the game if we can. If there's tickets available, we'll give them to you.
I think
we'll find a way. We'll get them.
It's almost unfortunate because we're gonna be so hyped to help anybody get to a game. We would be like, oh my God, yeah, you want tickets? We're gonna get you tickets. Do you like food? Do you want that? I'll get you a popcorn. What that's who we are. So it's part of who we are. But
that's what we do.
That's what we got. I don't think there's anything else. Shelby.
Yeah, that's all we got. Go to the games. Go to the game on Saturday. Watch that game. Get home in time to watch the men play Texas at 7. You can do both. Go to the Spirit Arena, Supermarket Arena. I just aged myself when I was in school. Spirit Arena.
Wow, you're canceled.
And canceled. And actually, I feel like you get points for that. Not canceled. It's the opposite. Go to the Supermarkets Arena and watch them play it too. The girls get the dub against Kansas, and then get home in time and watch the guys get the dub against the Longhorns on the road at the Moody Center. And we will see you next Thursday. I think we decided we're probably going to stick to Thursdays just because the schedule works out well. Whereas Wednesday, Saturday schedule mostly for women's. Men's games bounce around, but the women's are pretty set, so we're going to do it around there. So it works, and we're going to have a lot of stuff coming up soon. Softball's right around the corner. We got y'all.
Oh my God, dude.
Hopefully we're talking about the players that were drafted next week in the draft as well. So let's get it done. All right.
Let's do it. Bye, y'all.
Wreck 'em.